This is Catching Up with the Kernel. I'm your host, Gianna Gallo, joined by Owen Chesmore. And today we'll be highlighting 3 Kentucky Kernel articles to keep you in the loop of what's going on around campus.
First, we bring on the sports editor, Samantha Money, on to talk about the death of UK dance team member Kate Kaufling. And then that's going to be followed by a discussion with Bella Stepabon to talk about the 24-hour DanceBlue marathon. And then lastly, we're going to talk with TikTok manager Bryce Toll to talk about his thoughts on whether or not TikTok should get banned.
A quick disclaimer, the opinions expressed on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not uphold the opinions expressed by the Kentucky Kernel. All right, let's catch up. Editor Samantha Money. This month you covered a story about the recent death of UK dance member and a sophomore Kate Kaufling. What was that experience like, and can you please inform us on Kate's legacy?
That experience was very heavy for sure, because I've never covered such a tragedy like that before. And I just wanted to make sure that I handled it with care and caution and compassion for this family. But yes, so Kate passed away on the evening of Easter, so Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. And I think this was something that her family was prepared for as much as you can be in these situations. But basically, there was a small media opportunity with Abby Kaufling, who is her twin sister. Abby's also on the dance team with her. They've grown up together dancing. They've done everything together. And she was very strong and very brave to meet with a small group of us. And she just talked on Kate's legacy and how much that Kate wanted to be remembered as being kind and uplifting. And I think Abby and her family are really trying to focus on bringing awareness to the cancer that she had, which was osteosarcoma. It is a form of bone cancer, and to my knowledge, it was a very rare and aggressive form, what she had. So yeah, Abby was very strong, very brave, and just talked about how much they're making it their mission now to uphold her legacy.
Yeah. She was a part of a sorority.
Yes, so they were both a part of Tri Delta on campus, and they joined last year, freshman year.
Nice. What has the sorority done? I know DanceBlue just happened, and I saw a lot of, not advertising, but I saw a lot of people out there for Kate.
Yes, yeah.
Wearing yellow ribbons. Do you know the symbolism behind that?
Yes, so being a part of the Panhellenic community myself, I have seen lots of messages, what Tri-Delt has been asking of other girls in Panhellenic and just on the campus as a whole, to just be uplifting to the Monday that she passed away, so the Monday after. They all asked for people to wear yellow in support of Kate, and then there's going to be a vigil on campus on Monday, April 15th in Greek Park, and they've also asked everyone to wear yellow, wear bright colors, and I think this is just the symbolism of, trying to remember Kate as uplifting and kind and really making the best of this situation, just to remind people that, things like this can happen to anyone at any moment. So it's so important to just be kind and uplifting, and I think that's what they want people to remember with these bright colors.
Yeah.
You also mentioned in your article about the new initiatives that their family is starting. Could you talk more about that?
Yeah, so I know when Kate got diagnosed, they started this initiative called Kate's Crew, and to my knowledge, Abby didn't speak too much on it, but it was just to bring awareness to Kate, bring awareness to her form of osteosarcoma, and I think that they are going to continue to use that Kate's Crew as a platform to bring awareness to this, especially with the national attention that this story has received from, Good Morning America, Fox, everyone. It's a really good opportunity to, one, continue raising money for this family with I can't even imagine how much funds they have to cover for this, and also keep bringing awareness. So to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure that's the main initiative right now.
Well, I thank you so much. We thank you so much for your coverage on Kate's life, story, legacy, and the vigil is happening Monday the 15th.
Yes, Monday the 15th at Greek Park. Everyone and anyone is welcome to remember and honor Kate.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam, and we are so sorry for the Kaufling's loss.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I can do some good here by spreading awareness for Kate.
We are joined with Isabella Stepaban. You are a news reporter, and you covered DanceBlue this year.
I did.
Would you like to talk about your experience doing that?
Yeah. So it was a 24-hour event, and it's my first time ever covering something that's 24 hours where I kind of had to be on call for a whole day. It was awesome. I had a really good time covering it. I was there in person for 3 hours, and the rest of the time I just watched the live stream. But being there in person, the energy was crazy. Like, I don't know, coming in, I kind of expected to, because eventually, I went down to the floor to see dancers. I kind of expected some people to just, feel dead and look like they were not really having a good time, just because Rupp's floor is pure concrete. It's not really fun to be on for 24 hours. It's
That's
not meant
rough.
for you to stand on for 24 hours. But when I saw all of the dancers, I mean, even, they had a lounge where they all stretched and got to rest. And even in there, they all had smiles on their faces, and the energy was it was so positive and loving. It was awesome. Yeah.
And what was it like interviewing those people? Like, what kind of inspired them to join, or what was the reason for that?
Well, so I got to interview 3 students. All of them, their reason was they all said the exact same words. They're like, we're doing it for the kids. That's all they said. And 2 of the students that I interviewed were elementary education majors, and so they also had career aspirations that would involve dealing with children. So they were also like, this is a great way for me to, really get with my major and learn more about children. But literally everyone that I spoke to was just like, we're doing it for the kids. Like, this is why we're here, to help them. So it was really heartwarming to see that.
Yeah, I think, the biggest question is, how much money did this fundraiser make?
Yeah, so this year's was actually record-breaking. They earned about $2.13 million, which is a lot because this is only their 19th annual DanceBlue. So including this year's, they've raised a total of, I think it's $22 million.
Oh, wow.
Which is amazing, and $2 million of that is just from this year's. So it's crazy when you think about it. And then they announced they have these things called mini marathons, which is it's a smaller DanceBlue that local high schools or elementary schools can hold, and instead of being 24 hours, they're 4 to 8. And so that's a good way for students who aren't at UK. It's a good way for them to raise money. And it was announced that all of the mini marathons held this year raised over $500,000.
Wow,
which is really crazy because it's a lot. You would imagine that that much for UK because UK is a huge campus, but one school in particular raised I think $46,000, which is phenomenal and super awesome.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and some normally it's high schools that throw these, but there were some elementary schools that were doing it too, and it's like these kids are out here trying to help other kids, and so it's really sweet to see.
Yeah, I can hear the passion in your voice of sharing this event, which it's an awesome event that goes back to, the money goes to amazing fundraiser, charity, all of that. Right, with this being a 24-hour dance competition marathon, what was your favorite hour? What was that like? Did they change? Was it ballet for 1 hour, salsa dancing for the next hour? What did that look like?
So going into it, I kind of thought they're just literally just going to be dancing for 24 hours. And I was like, that sounds exhausting. I mean, it's for an amazing cause. That sounds exhausting, though. And instead what they did is, so I think within the first 2 hours of the event, everyone got together and they all learned like, it was like a 15-minute line dance with like 20 to 30 songs. And so once they learned that, they repeated that line dance at the beginning of every hour. And then after that, they wouldn't like, I guess, just dance to music. If they wanted to, they could. But they had themed hours so one theme was like a Jumanji theme. And so they had to do a bunch of like obstacle courses. And then they had trivia hour. I think my personal favorite, because I was there, so I got to really watch and experience, was Chase Abrams, which is a local Lexington country singer, got to perform. And I don't normally listen to country music, but I love listening to artists perform live. I just think it's, especially local artists, because like unpopular, it's not an unpopular opinion, but I feel like they're better performance-wise because they really connect with the crowd. So I think that was my favorite. He performed around 2 on Sunday, so kind of the final stretch of the whole marathon. But I also got to see them performing the line dance from up top of the arena. And I mean, it was insane. Like they were probably like 15 hours into the marathon and they had an entire 15-minute dance memorized. Like no flaws. I was watching, like scanning the crowd, and everyone like knew what they were doing. And it was really great to like, it was just so awesome to watch. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Bella, for coming on in
Thanks.
today's episode and sharing such a happy and positive story with us about DanceBlue.
Of course. Do it for the kids, man.
We are joined with Bryce Toll, who is the TikTok manager. Thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to share your perspective on the attempt to ban TikTok?
Yeah. So, like you said, I'm the TikTok manager for the Kernel, and the TikTok ban is pretty interesting to me. KYT asked me to speak on this on a short broadcast they did, and oh man, it's really crazy. I think that TikTok is really similar to just like Instagram, right? Especially Reels. You just swipe vertically, you're going up, and so I think the reason why people want to get rid of TikTok is because they have this link to, and I'm going to put air quotes, to the CCP, right, the Chinese Communist Party. And I don't know how like true that is or anything, but that's what legislators are saying and Senate majority are saying in the House, in the Senate. Obviously it hasn't gone through everything yet, but I think that TikTok is a platform that was created to get people to where they want to go, sort of, right? YouTube doesn't. There's no For You. The For You page is something that is specific to TikTok, right? So Instagram doesn't have this, YouTube doesn't have this, and what I think the For You page does is help people that are smaller, like specifically like us, right? Like it gets people to see what we're talking about, right? So YouTube doesn't do that. You'd have to search for specifically what you're talking about. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to be able to talk freely about what they think on subjects, right? So I think it's sort of this almost declaration to like end some sort of free speech within the TikTok community specifically. And I just think that's like a hindrance to our democracy. I don't specifically think that China is like stealing like data. I mean, I guess if that comes out to be true, then I'm wrong. But I'm not worried about that in my specific sense. And what we're doing, we're sharing the truth, we're sharing news. And I would never like share personal information about myself really on the internet. So I'm not too worried about stuff like that. I think that, if TikTok goes away, then it's just going to be Instagram Reels. And they'll probably implement a platform similar to the For You page. They already have something that just drives content similar to what you already like, similar to TikTok, but you occasionally will see stuff that you don't know about because it's trying to engage you into different subjects that you might like.
So you're afraid that like in an attempt to like deal with this like supposed threat that would actually like limit free speech? Is that your main concern about it?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty, I think, limiting free speech is anything that would take an opportunity to speak away, and that's TikTok, right? That's an opportunity. This platform has grown on the Kentucky Kernels account to we're at like 11.3 thousand followers now, and but when I got the account, it was at like maybe 2,000. I can't remember. It was like 1,700, and that's given me and the Kernel an opportunity to express news, right? It's not like we're expressing our opinions, but people do that, and people have a huge following doing that. And that would just be stripped away because the U.S. government just doesn't like it, right? Or they're afraid of something that hasn't happened yet, which I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous that like this is being passed so fast and like things are happening so fast with this, but like we're not talking about like gun reform or social justice reform or just like any other topic that is really actually hurting people, affecting people truly. There's just like a fear that this might affect people, and it's not happening yet.
What do you feel like, so, right, hypothetical, TikTok gets banned. What do you feel like is the difference between a TikTok, what we do, right, with the Kernel, it's man on the street interviews, telling news, but getting people's opinions on it. What do they think about this headline? So if TikTok were to get banned, where do you feel like people are going to get their news, especially that follow the Kernel?
To be honest, I think they're just going to go to Instagram. Like, they're just not going to have TikTok, and if they're fiending for that dopamine of just scrolling infinitely into the void, then they're going to go to Reels, right? And I'll just start filming and editing on Instagram and putting them on Reels. I do fear that we won't receive the same engagement because there's not a For You page, and things that are trending like the solar eclipse and the Travis Scott merch and things like that boosted the views and the likes on the TikTok. So, I mean, simply said, I think I would just go to YouTube and hope for the best, or not YouTube, but Instagram and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very unnerving. I do agree with you how quickly all of this is getting passed. It's a little bit alarming, in my opinion, and I'm very curious to see what the outcome for this bill, this ban, all of this what's the answer? What's going to happen? Because you're the TikTok guy, and I'm like worried. I'm like, what is Bryce going to do? And obviously, thank goodness you do broadcast too.
Right.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah. Show, I think is his name, the owner of TikTok. I don't think he's going to sell.
Really?
He said that he's not going to sell. I don't know how like true that's going to remain, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of Mr. Wonderful, is that his name? You guys know the Shark Tank guy?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he went on some like Fox affiliate or some national news source and was like, if someone doesn't buy it, I'm going to buy it, and it's going to be the biggest money maker that I've ever, whatever, right? So I think that a lot of people are interested in buying. I mean, come on now. It's like Instagram, YouTube. Like, why don't you want to own a major? Like, Elon Musk just bought Twitter. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of the game now, buying platforms, I guess. If I had that money, I guess I'd buy a platform too. But, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous that, I mean, most people can't even afford to live in their house or buy gas, right? And we're not trying to like fix these problems. We're trying to ban TikTok. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Exactly.
That's fair. Yeah.
Very fair. Well, thank you so much for coming on today's podcast.
Yeah,
and I
thank you.
think we're all going to kind of be in the cloud of unknowingness until there's an answer. So check out our opinions page at kykernel.com to read both sides on if TikTok should be banned or shouldn't be banned. So thank you again, Bryce, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, that's a wrap on Catching Up with the Kernel. We want to thank our guests, Samantha, Isabella, and Bryce, for keeping us in the loop of what's important news around campus.
If you happen to miss their articles, you can always check out kykernel.com and follow us on all of our social media platforms, including X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and thanks for catching up. See you next week.